A very good afternoon to each and every one of you. First of all, before I proceed, I would like to make a humble request to everyone to kindly put your phone on silent mode so that we do not have any interruption during the ongoing discussion we have today. Thank you. So may I introduce myself? My name is Kunga Chindan. I'm the program coordinator of Tibet House, the cultural center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And on behalf of Tibet House, the cultural center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I would like to extend our warm welcome to all of you on this auspicious occasion of the 89th birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. And I'm extremely pleased to share this celebration with all of you today. And today, we celebrate the Universal Day of Compassion, and in supplication to Lord Buddha, right. Excuse me. So, like I said before, that today we celebrate the Universal Day of Compassion. And in supplication to Lord Buddha and all the Bodhisattvas who are present here, we pray for His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama to have a long and a very healthy life. May he live for eons and eons for the benefit of all sentient beings. We offer our deepest admiration and gratitude for his tireless service to humanity and Buddha Dharma. His words of compassion and world harmony are so powerful and enlightening. We solemnly take this pledge to follow on your principles and become a good human being. With this note, I would like to welcome our Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, Director General of International Buddhist Confederation, and our respected speakers from various religious perspectives. So, Mr. Chairperson, may I introduce? On your right, Swami Sarvalokananda ji, and on your left, we have Dr. Rabbi Ezekiel Isaac Malika ji, and on the left side, we have Father Dr. Norbert Herman from Christianity perspective, and then we have Professor Amrit Kaur Basra ji. And on the left, we have Dr. Shernas Kamaji, and we have Dr. Dhammadeep P. Wankede ji, who's from the Buddhist perspective, and then we have Ms. Nilakshi Rajkova ji, and she has sent a special message, and she apologized as she is not able to attend today's roundtable discussion due to some personal urgency. All right. So with this, I once again welcome all of you to the roundtable discussion on universal ethics and responsibilities, challenges and solutions. And with this, now I would like to call upon our accountant, Mr. Ashokji, to kindly come up and present the white scarf and the souvenir to our Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, Director General of International Buddhist Confederation. Thank you, Ashokji. Mr. Chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, I would now request you to kindly offer the khata and the souvenir to our respected speakers as well. Thank you. Right. We have Swami Sarvalokananda ji from Hinduism perspective on today's roundtable discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. And then we have Dr. Rabbi Ezekiel Isaac Malika ji from the Judaism perspective. Right. And we have Father Dr. Norbert Herman from Christianity perspective. And then we have Professor Amrit Kaur Basraji. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Amrit Kaur Basraji. And now we have Dr. Sharnaz Kamaji. Ma'am, Dr. Sharnaji? Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji. Thank you so much. Um, with this now, let me proceed the session with the lamp lightning, offering to the Lord Buddha and all the Bodhisattvas. I would like to request our chairperson, Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, and our respected speakers to kindly come up and light the butter lamp as an offering for the long and joyful life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Thank you. All right, and I would like to request all of you to recite the Buddha offering prayers with me. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all in bewildered misery's gloom. With folded hands, hello? Hello. May I request all of you, all the participants, to kindly come up and light the butter lamp. Please, please welcome. Please. Mr. Ashwinji, please welcome. Shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, our Honorable Chairperson and our respected speakers, and also to all the participants who have gathered here. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have the tree plantation ceremony to offer prayers to all the Bodhisattvas and to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama for his healthy life. May I request our colleagues to kindly bring forward the plant. Um, Right. May I request our Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji? I'm really sorry for the trouble. We'll do the tree plantation ceremony, and then we have a cake cutting ceremony. Please. Please, sir.
I know. Even I was thinking of that. Thank you for bringing the garden to us in the rain.
Please, please, sir. Please, ma'am. Swamiji, please, Swamiji. Swamiji, please. Father Norman, please. Right. And as we plant this tree, we would like to offer prayers to the Buddhas as well. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma. For all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma. For all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma. For all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech.
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions.
To shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas
Of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all
bewildered in misery's gloom.
With
Folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions
to shine the light for all bewildered.
for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Sure. Right. Sir, will you please do the honor of cutting the cake? Thank you. Now may I request our chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, to kindly do the honor of the cake cutting ceremony. And I would also like to request all the speakers, and I apologize for the inconvenience caused. We'll finish the cake cutting ceremony and then we'll proceed the session. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Holiness. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Yeah. Bless you. May God bless you. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please I would request you to kindly give a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
It's a large-hearted person, 89 years old.
Right. Please.
My hand went like that.
भैया काट के ना लेके आना है पैसा तो बोलो क्या अरे उसको बोलना कहाँ है वो पैसा 오케이, 쉬쉬. 야, 다들. 디킨 주 같이 한번 표시 다들아. 없다. 쉬쉬. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, and all the respected speakers. Now, may I proceed the roundtable discussion on universal ethics and responsibility and challenges and solutions. So before we move on, I would like to give you a brief introduction about Mr. Abhijit Haldarji. Mr. Abhijit Haldarji is currently the Director General of International Buddhist Confederation. He served in the government of India from 1986 to 2022 and retired as Special Secretary in Government of India in January 2022. He served in the Ministry of External Affairs in different capacities and was assigned to different countries as part of the Indian mission in Moscow, Ukraine, USA, Austria, and Nepal. He is presently the Director General of International Buddhist Confederation, IBC, has dealt with Buddhism and specifically Tibetan Buddhism over the years in India and abroad. Having associated closely with Buddhist communities, organizations abroad, especially in Buddhist nations, has a strong understanding of the present-day underlying dynamics within the Buddhism matrix. As Director General of IBC, effectively coordinates India's Buddhism narrative with various India-based and international Buddhist organizations in coordination with the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. He was the head coordinator for the Global Buddhist Summit in the year 2023, held in April in New Delhi. The event was inaugurated by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and was attended by senior monks from several Buddhist nations, including His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. In March 2023, he coordinated with the Indian Ministry of External Affairs to organize the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in New Delhi on shared Buddhist heritage of SCO nations. He led the IBC team for exposition of the Buddha relic in Mongolia and recently in February-March 2024 in Thailand. Now, may I request our Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, to kindly proceed this session. Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Good afternoon and Namo Buddhaya to all of you. Most respected representatives from various spiritual organizations, friends and colleagues who are here in this hall, who have come here to attend this very important discussion on universal ethics and responsibility, challenges and solutions. This is indeed the need of the hour, this topic, the discussion on this. Also, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Tibet House for putting together this important event on a very important day, such as this. At the outset, of course, I would like to take this opportunity with the blessings of the Triple Gem, as we say in Buddhism, to wish a very happy birthday to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He has contributed significantly towards pushing the narrative of Dhamma in different ways, with specific emphasis on compassion and wisdom and all the elements associated therein. we wish him good health and long life. And we wish that he continues to serve us in the manner that he has been doing. Well, when we talk about universal ethics and responsibility, I think one needs to understand the meaning of the word universal ethics. When you talk about universal ethics, what is it? I mean, universal is, of course, it's a common word, but the fact that the word universal is being used when you talk about universal ethics actually is an emphasis of the fact that every individual on this planet have to play a role in defining universal ethics. Otherwise, it's of no value. If you have a small community or a small group of individuals who are pursuing universal ethics and some others who are not, then the not ones are going to be the detractors. They're going to affect the process of universal ethics. So therefore, universality is very critical. Every individual across the globe, irrespective of class, creed, religion, region, ethnicity, has to be part of this process. Ethics, of course, is defined in different ways by political analysts, by philosophers, by saints, by gurujis, etc. But in total, it forms part of all religions. But more than that, it forms part of all human societies. And if there was no ethics, the society would have been in a state of chaos, anarchy, and utter violence. Well, the society is not that good as we see now. But this is irrespective of whatever extent to which people have practiced universal ethics. But this shows that there's a lot more which needs to be done. In Buddha Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha specifically talks about 4 noble paths towards achieving what is called as self-realization or nirvana, or for that matter, universal ethics, to understand universal ethics. Now these 4 nodes are referred to as metta, which is loving kindness, karuna, which is compassion, many of you would be knowing about it, mudita, which is sympathetic joy, and upekha, which is equanimity. Now, metta, loving kindness, is primarily all about boundless love and affection among humans towards other humans. Even if the other person dislikes you and does not want that love and affection, you don't get deterred by that, but you cross the line and you reach out to that individual with love and affection. It's to that degree that you're expected to convey the message of metta. When you talk of compassion, compassion is primarily a reaction to the sufferings of people. And as you all know, Buddha's teachings are all about suffering, how to rid people of suffering, how to rid the world of suffering. So here, he talks about going to the extent of identifying the pain in people, trying to figure out as to who is in what form of pain, who is not able to probably express his pain, and go into his mind, his soul, and try to repair the damage. The individual may not be wary of this. I mean, he would probably be a little cautious in your dealings with him, saying that I'm okay, absolutely, I'm fine, this is the way life is. I mean, I'm used to living like this. But you have to identify that flaw in his soul, in his mind, in his heart, and segregate it, and act on it, and help him out. There are many instances like this where monks have identified ordinary people who seem to be feeling very normal, but they've identified flaws in them, changed their mindset, completely reversed their way of looking at life, looking at the world. Then comes mudita, which is, we talk about sympathetic joy. Now this is very interesting because here we are talking about celebrations of feeling a sense of joy at something good which has happened to somebody else, not to you. Now in today's world, this is something unbelievable. It's like your neighbor you may have good relations with the neighbor, but the neighbor has, his sons have passed exams with exemplary marks, but you are celebrating. I mean, it's unusual and unheard of, and but that's the degree which is expected, because we are talking about an interpersonal, connected society and community where human to human relations is very relevant and very important. So mudita, or sympathetic joy, is reaching that level of goodwill towards others and to feel at pleasure and joyful at others' success and victory. And then finally we come to upeka, which is equanimity. Now this is the state of mind which we are talking about. There are all kind of negative forces which are acting around you. There are emotions, there are sentiments, anger, greed, craving, all sorts of things which you face on a day-to-day basis. But in the course of all of this, you stand straight and you wade through the storm without being deterred. That's what upeka is, to keep your mind absolutely untouched by any of these distractions. So primarily it's metta, karuna, mudita and upeka, which are defined as parameters which would enable a human being to reach a level where he is in a better position to understand the relevance of universal ethics and hence implement it. But then the question comes that, how do you implement this? In order to understand this subject, you need to have a purity of mind, a degree of self-realization. Very senior monks, His Holiness, etc., their understanding of metta, karuna, mudita and upeka is at a different degree, at a different level. Therefore, when they speak on these topics, it is from their heart and soul, because they've experienced it, they've felt it. For an ordinary individual, once again, Dhamma prescribes 3 parameters which enables you to reach a stage where you can practice metta, karuna, mudita and upeka. And these parameters are very general aspects of daily life. One is sila. Sila is morality. So you adhere to moral values. You don't get carried away by negative forces. Greed, craving, etc. has to be kept away. Positivity has to be built in your mind. Then comes something called samadhi. This is all about concentration, which is also something known as mindfulness. You're all aware of mindfulness. To be very mindful of what you do, every moment, every instant. We all think that we are focused and concentrated in our activities. Right now, like I'm talking, I'm probably concentrating to the maximum possible in this speech, but actually I'm not doing that. It's not possible. 100% focus and concentration is not possible. Somebody who's preparing for an exam is putting in his best, studying 18 hours an hour, but still he or she will not be able to put in 100%. That degree of concentration is impossible for a normal human mind and brain, unless he reaches a stage of self-realization of a degree, which is beyond a normal person's capability. But we need to try. So this concentration is all about mindfulness. Be very mindful in whatever you do at any point of time. As we're sitting here and talking, many of you must be thinking that, okay, from here I have to go back, I have to pick up my car from here, my keys are there, I have to pick up my kids, all of that. Now, that's very normal. But what I'm trying to say is you have to switch off from all those worries, all those concerns, and just focus at this point. It's a way of training your mind. It's a way of training your brain, thinking power. And then finally, there is something called paya, we call it, Panna, it's pronounced, but in Sanskrit, it's called paya, which is wisdom. So whatever you do in a wise manner, thinking of the right and the wrong, the to do and not to do aspects. You use your mind to decide what is good for you, what is not good for you. So sila, samadhi and paya, which is morality, concentration and wisdom, are also 3 aspects which you can practice, which will take you to a degree from where you can move on to practicing metta, karuna, mudita and upeka. But then, when we all speak here, I'm sure all of us will have our own theories and our own version of, how to get into universal ethic and response, etc. For an ordinary person who's involved in a very complex life, morning to evening, you don't have time to practice all of this, and you must be thinking that all of this is part of a lecture, but nothing comes out of it. For that, it has been the desire of Buddha 2,500 years back. He knew there's complexity in life, and people are not going to be able to practice all these aspects so easily. So he came up with something called the Vipassana, the meditation, a very simple form of meditation, which, if practiced on a daily basis, certainly brings you up to a high degree of realization, self-realization. Vipassana, the word Vipassana is derived from two words, two subsections. One is Vi, the other is Pasana. Now, Pasa means to observe, to see, to observe. And Vi can be broken up into three forms. First is Vishesha. Vishesha means, as in Hindi, it's in Sanskrit, special. Then the second is Vivedana, which means from all angles or from different angles. And the third is Vichayana, which is by dissecting things. So while doing Vipassana or while practicing Vipassana, you look at everything around you, the world, the people, the bus, the tram, the aircraft, the trees, the animals, in a three-dimensional manner. That is in a special manner, Vishesha, from all angles, that is Vivedana, and by dissecting each of these items, that is Vichayana. Now imagine it's like an X-ray. So Vipassana carries you to a domain from where you observe the world around you in a very different manner as compared to the other individuals around you. So this is a practice which has been suggested by Siddhartha Gautama 2,500 years back. And what happened, unfortunately, as it happened in many cases, we could not sustain Vipassana in India for years, for centuries. And it was taken to Myanmar. And it developed in Myanmar in a major way. And it actually became a property of Myanmar. To the extent that in many countries like Thailand, etc., Vipassana is known as a Thai practice, a Myanmar practice. But it originated in India. It was transported there. And now there is effort to get Vipassana back to India. Of course, there is Vipassana all over. But in terms of the core value, to own it, India to own Vipassana is an exercise which is now going on, where we are also involved, the International Buddhist Confederation. And our Prime Minister, in fact, in January at a speech had mentioned specifically about the need for Vipassana to be projected as ancient wisdom of India, not of any other country. So it's very interesting. All of these aspects are there with us, and there is need to implement and practice them. I won't go into further details, endless amount of things one can talk about, but I'll leave it to rest of our members here to speak a few words from their side, and then we'll take on the discussions. So, good, Swamiji.
Om Asato Ma Sadagamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mityorma Amritagamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. At the outset, I am very thankful to the organizer for having invited me to this prestigious Gold Table Conference. And subject is very important in the present scenario. The ethics, we see whole world. Today the whole world is tormented by all kind of violence, unrest, all sorts of things we see. Why untoward incidents are happening all over the world? What is the cause of all this untoward incident? We have to understand it. Dear friends, now slowly people are becoming unethical, dishonest, and in other words, we can say that there is a tremendous erosion of human values, which is very important issue nowadays. Tremendous erosion of human value. That is why we see all kind of corruption, rampant corruption in all levels. How we have become dishonest. That is why we have to be moral, pure, honest. There is no doubt about it. Dear friends, we talk about the divinity. Swami Vivekananda said time and again that each soul is a potentially divine. The religion is, or goal of human life is, to manifest this divinity within. We all are divine according to Vedanta philosophy. We all are divine and we are one and the same. There is no difference outwardly. Outwardly maybe there is some difference, but inwardly there is no difference. So it is an important words, divinity within us. Because if you are divine, I am also divine, everybody is divine. That means if you cannot hurt others, you cannot insult others. If you hurt and insult others, means you are insulting yourself. Because all you are divine. We are one and the same. Then friends, in this way we can inculcate this habit of manifestation of a divinity within all of us. Dear friends, the Indian perspective we see in Hinduism, this ethic has been emphasized time and again for many centuries, nearly 5,000 years old. So we have to understand it is very carefully that this divinity, how we can develop, how we can manifest. And according to the Hinduism, first lesson, the student used to learn from the teacher. It's very interesting. Not geography or history or anything. Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara. These are the first lesson the student used to get from the teacher when they used to go to school, when they started their learning. Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara. Stick to truthfulness or speak truth and practice righteousness. Dharma. Practice righteousness. So from very beginning, the student used to hear all sorts of things. But it is unfortunate that nowadays we are not teaching our children or student this lesson. This lesson is very important, And Swami Vivekananda said, be unselfish. Unselfishness is the root cause of unethics. Root cause of unethics. He is writing a beautiful writing letter to Maharaja of Mysore. What is writing to Maharaja of Mysore? Dear noble friends, life is short. Vanities of life are transitory. They alone live who live for others. Rest are more dead than alive. क्या कहते हैं स्वामी विवेकानंद जी? स्वामी जी कहते हैं कि ये जीवन जो है 2 दिन के लिए है. आज है कल नहीं भी हो सकता है. जीवन के जितने भी अहंकारें हैं, all vanities of life are transitory. वो भी 2 दिन के लिए है. आज है कल नहीं भी हो सकता है. If it is so, then it is better to live for others. Dear friends, most of us live for ourselves, but you have to live for others. The people who live for others, really they are living, genuine living. That is what is said. They alone live who live for others. Rest are more dead than alive. जो केवल अपने लिए जीते हैं, वो जीते हुए भी मुर्दे का समान है. Swami Vivekananda is telling. Dear friends, why people are becoming so corrupt, unethical? What is the reason cause? You have to find out. You have to first diagnose. Then we can treat. So in our Hindu scriptures, there are 6 types of enemies. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya. 5 kinds of enemies sitting in our heart. We think that enemies are outside. Dear friend, there is not outside enemy. All enemies are sitting within you. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Kama, the desire, the crowd, the anger. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, the greed. Greed is very dangerous. The greed forces the people to take unfair means to earn money, this and that, and satisfy his or her desire. So that is why this Kama and Krodha, all these 6 enemies, is a block to go towards this, what is called self-realization and all sorts of things. Buddha has said the same thing. You have to become pure. And people say that you have to become spiritual, you have to do this, you have to do that, and make it more complicated. But Swami Vivekananda has put it very rightly. Very simple way. How you become spiritual, how you become ethical person. He said very simply, he used only 4 words. Be good and to do good. This is whole of religion, whole of spirituality, whole of ethics. Be good and to do good. You become good person, good citizen, enlightened citizen, and do good things. That means you help others. You extend your help to your neighbor, to all people. That is why Swami Vivekananda said that if you want to become ethical, honest, then you must be good first, good person, good enlightened citizen, and then you have to do something good for the society, for the country. So dear friends, to establish this universal ethics, we hold all kinds of seminars, symposium, gold table conference. I don't know what result it has held till today. But really, if you have to eradicate these unethical things, corruption, all sorts of things, then value education must be started at home. Not school or college or anywhere. What is the parents? They have to take care of their children. First, they have to teach the value education, give value education to their children. Nowadays, nobody gives. The parents do not give this value education to their children. Earlier days, when you were young, all sorts of moral things is to learn from our fathers, from grandfather, grandmother. We used to learn all these things. So, dear friends, so the parents has to play a great role in imparting value education to the children. Then only we can establish this universal ethics or peace, whatever it may be. So we have to become unselfish, we have to be good and enlightened citizen, and so that we can give up from our heart and mind this greed, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsarya. Then only you can establish peace. The most wanted thing in human life is peace. So if you want to achieve peace, then first condition is that you have to love others, you have to serve others, you have to feel oneness with others, you have to, if you attain peace of mind, that peace of mind you have to radiate around you. If you can do that, then only you can establish peace on this earth. Namaskar, Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Swamiji. I think absolutely meaningful and very, very useful tips for everyone here. And I fully agree with you. And I think it is critical for the youngsters to really learn the value systems. With all the electronic gadgets available and the mobile phones, etc., there is excessive distraction. There's no doubt about it. And it's very difficult to bring them back to those moments which Swamiji said, which we used to spend in the earlier days, being out in the fields, playing football, associated with nature, etc. All of that has reduced significantly, and negative elements are all across. So, other than schools come next. But obviously, in families, in homes, we have to be more controlled and regulated in terms of how we bring up the children. It's very, very critical. I remember when Swamiji mentioned about corruption. I had a chance of working with an organization in Vienna known as the UN Office on Drugs and Crime and Corruption. Now, they deal with global corruption, and there would be very serious research from different countries, right from Nicaragua to African countries to India, on why corruption occurs. And the end result was it's the human greed. And it's become a culture. It's in the DNA. Certain countries, when we were mapping, the conclusion was that you can do whatever possible, but you just cannot get rid of corruption in these countries. You can pump in money and you can sort of have sessions after sessions of training, but it will not go. So it's in the DNA. So converting an individual or a set of individuals is not so easy. But again, like he said, it has to be from the grassroots level. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you. Dr. Malekar, I would ask you to speak a few words.
Just Shabbat Shalom, because Father knows that we are celebrating Shabbat. God created this universe and He rested on the 7th day. So I just finished the prayer. First of all, I would like to recite blessings and prayers for His Holiness Dalai Lama. Me Shebera Kabuteno, Abraham Isaac Yaakov, Moshe Viharon, David Shalomo, Uyabare Ket Kebot, His Holiness Dalai Lama, Malka de Alma, Uyabare Yate, Amen. Wajake Yate, Amen. Washma Bekol Selote, Amen. Vekini Rason, Venumar, Amen. Ebareka dona Vaishmereka, Yaira dona Pana Vileka Neka, Estadona Pana Vyasamleka Shalom. May God shower upon His Holiness Dalai Lama His choicest blessings for harmonious, successful, peaceful, healthiest, and long 120 years of life. And may his long cherished dream of free Tibet come true very soon. Let us say Tathastu. Today, I just finished the prayers in the synagogue. So before I say about what is said in Judaism, I remembered one Tibetan proverb. One day, walking through the mountains, from the distance, I saw a beast. Coming closer, I realized that he was a man. Walking along his side, I recognized him as my brother. This is what the Tibetan. And today, when I was reading the Torah, when God finished entire creation, and on the 6th day, He said, let us make a man. To whom He was talking, He was discussing with all the angels. Let us create a man. And there was a debate among the angels. Some of the angels were not in favor of, they said, no God, please do not create you human being. Others said, so first angel, his name was Hesed. Hesed means compassion. And compassion said to God, God, let human being be created because they will do the act of kindness. Then came the second, Emeth. Emeth means it is the name of God. So truth. A truth said to God, God, please create human being. Don't create a human being because they will be filled with all the lies. Then came the Sedek, righteousness. Righteousness said to God, God, please create human being because they will do the acts of justice. Then came Shalom, peace. Shalom said to God, do not create human being because they will be filled with strife. They will be struggling, they will be quarreling with each other. They won't be peace. Don't create them. Ultimately, what, after listening to everyone, God then cast Emeth, truth, down to earth. All the angels, they objected because like a hallmark, he was so dear to God. How God could send Emeth, truth, to God said, truth is God's hallmark. God replied that truth will blossom forth from earth and humanity will be redeemed. And then Adam was created. And when Adam was created, he was created in God's own image and likeness. And how is God? It is mentioned in Psalm 8, Psalm 145. And how is God? God is merciful, God is compassionate, God is slow to anger. How many of us are slow to anger? Abundance in love, forgiveness, tolerance. We have that festival called, Yom Kippur, asking for forgiveness from God. But God said, before you ask forgiveness for your sins, first forgive those who have sinned against you. So I was just reading it, and I would like to tell that I am representing a very, very microscopic minority community of India, that is the Jewish community. And now there are only 5,000 Jews left all over India. Because India's population is 1.4 billion. But I would like to tell that India is one of the countries, the only country in the world where the Jews have never faced anti-Semitism and persecution. So I always say that we are first, Indian first and Jews second. When Mr. Shimon Peres came to visit the synagogue, I said, Israel is in my heart, but India is in my blood. That spirit I'm having. And I was inspired by His Holiness Dalai Lama. He told me in 1985, this is, you must have something at your synagogue, because every place of worship, they only concentrate on their own ideologies and their holy scripture. I started in 1981 the Interfaith Study Center at the library of the synagogue, where we have the holy scriptures of the 9 religions. And my aim is to find out what are the similarities, commonalities between all the religions, not the differences. Differences do not criticize. If you do not to respect what Swami Vivekananda ji said, follow one, respect all. So I started there, and you are all welcome to visit the synagogue. Coming to the Judaism,
You are all the time telling that you are welcome, but never invited us to.
there is no need to, brother. You are my brother. You. I will definitely, I'll invite you.
He just told me that he has been inviting me and I have not been going. So there's a reverse thing also. I will come. I'll certainly come.
Okay, yeah. See, in Torah, God has given, of course, the 10 commandments. And before that, when God saw that Moses is so merciful, even to the animals, so he's the best person to liberate the Jews out of bondage in Egypt. So he asked Moses, and when Moses went for the first time, that is a burning bush, God said to Moses, remove the shoes. See, we don't understand. I go to the Gurudwara, you have to wash your feet, go to the church. But what is the real meaning of the removing the shoes? Why we remove the shoes? Because God said, when you remove the shoes, the dust on the feet will be, now we have removed the shoe outside. But God wanted to say that when you come to any place, that purity of the heart, don't have the misconceived notions. Don't come to me with the prejudiced mind. Don't come to me with the biased mind. That is why Galeb also said, no, सारी जिंदगी भर मैं आईना साफ करता रहा जबकि धूल मेरे चेहरे पे लगे हुए थे. That aham, that ego has to be, when you remove the shoes, you throw out the ego. And someone asked Rabbi Hillel, 613 commandments. Of course, we know only the 10 commandments. First, 10 commandments, they are written 5 commandments on one stone and next 5 commandments on the other stone. Why this arrangement? For the first 5 commandments, your duties, obligations to God. I am the Lord your God. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Thou shalt not take the name of God in vain. Thou shalt observe Shabbat. Thou shalt honor thy father and mother. For me, if you'll ask, most important commandment out of 613 is only the thou shalt honor thy father and mother. The first 5 commandments, your duties, obligations to God. Next 5 commandments, from 6th onward, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not stand false witness, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not covet. These are your obligations, duty toward the society. And someone asked Rabbi Hillel, please tell me, while standing on one foot, the essence of Torah. And he said, what is hateful and hurtful to you, do not do to others. Nothing. Now, very important to say, what is hateful and hurtful? So, he said, what is hateful and hurtful? I got this, only 2 minutes left. So I want again, that concentration, as he was talking to me, how to concentrate. So anyhow, he said that if what is hateful and hurtful to you, if somebody attacks you with a weapon, that wound could be healed. But if somebody, utters a bad word, you have to be very careful. When the unspoken words, this mouth is like a Brahmand and the words are like a Brahmastra. You are the master. Till such time you have not spoken those words. But once you speak the words, they become your master. And secondly, Lashon Hora. You should not say gossip, say bad words about the others. And then comes the Tikkun Ulam. Tikkun Ulam is God created this universe and you have the duties to, if you can improve. And as Swamiji said, I also very agree with him that we must have the value-based education and human rights education and multi-religious education, and most importantly about the ecology. Because in Judaism we have the festival called Tu B'Shvat. We celebrate the birthday of trees. Why Israel is alive today? Because of the ecology, because of the trees. So, but unfortunately, God said you are the protector of the entire ecology, nature. But for the sake of the progress and, we have become the destroyers of the ecology. So we must save that ecology. And at the end, I would say, oh God, you taught us how to fly in the air like a bird. Oh God, you taught us how to swim under the water like a fish. But God, you forgot to teach us how to walk on this earth in humanity, in brotherhood. Amen.
I wish to greet all of you with the peace, shalom. And thank you very much, the Tibet House, for inviting me for this beautiful program on the day of the birthday of the Dalai Lama. I wish him all God's blessing for a long and a healthy life. I was really admiring Swamiji and Ezekiel sir, who have placed on record the teachings of the Vivekananda and the Judaism. in core of his uh, the message was clear, as Swamiji said, that live for others. And the Bible, basically we follow the Old Testament and New Testament, and Rabbi Ezekiel has very beautifully acknowledged and said that we follow the commandments. There is a format, 10 commandments, which he has just cited before you: love God, love your parents, and all that. And going beyond these laws, Jesus brought in the core of human living into just 2 commandments, just 1 commandment: love God and love neighbor. And that summarizes the human life, that Jesus went around doing good. He uplifted the human beings. And I would like to quote Mother Teresa of our time, whom we have, some of you have attended her program and seen the way she has gone about. She says, the fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of silence is prayer. And the fruit of prayer is service. And the fruit of service is love. And the fruit of love is peace. And that is what summarizing the Christianity, the face of Jesus. And we are all to become face of Jesus. And just reading, and then was one of the very prominent, Jesus commandment in Matthew 22 chapter, verses 36. The greatest commandment is love. And God created humanity in love. God loved the world so much that he gave his only son in the person of Jesus to love the humanity. And that is our parameter. That is our goal that surpasses all our, concentration on another person, Love thy neighbor. If we have got that perspective in our life, we will be able to build the kingdom of love. And that is why Jesus, in his teaching, in his mission, he said very clearly that blessed are those who are pure in heart, for the kingdom of God belongs to them. And that purity of mind, purity of heart, purity of living, as our presently Pope Francis is speaking very clearly, the holistic, the whole cosmos, how we can preserve. We are living in a time of war. We are living a time of troubled water, the broken relationship. And therefore, that can be brought up only when we, begin with oneself. We begin with family. Begin with our own city where we are, context. We can talk so many things. We are talking about universal ethics. Talk of our own living. How today people are suffering. They do not have food. People living in utter poverty. They do not have a basic means. And therefore, it is for everyone, whether it is a political leader or a religious leader or a social leader, to inculcate that love, that in each of us, God lives. And that divinity we have lost to great extent, that we need to bring about. We need to implement that. And that is why I am saying today that the compassionate face of Christianity is Mother Teresa. And why not we take actions on that aspect where we will feel for the other. We will be kind to other. We'll be compassionate to the other person. The human dignity, the women, the children, who see the reality of our country, the reality of our neighborhood. So let us take a step ahead, try and meet the neighbor in our own context. Thank you and God bless.
I think Dr. Basra.
Good afternoon, everyone. We all are really blessed as we are celebrating His Holiness Dalai Lama's 89th birthday. And we seek His blessings and hope that the way He has lived His life and is going to be with us till eternity, we hope. And from the Sikh perspective, I would like to share a few thoughts based on Gurbani, and also one can say to some extent, those who are Sikhs, they have been practicing Sikhs. So Guru Granth Sahib, the Guru Eternal, has not only the Bani of 7 Gurus, but also Bhagats, Fakirs and Bhatts. And in a daily prayer, we always says that Manas, that Nanak Naam Chardi Kala, Tere Bhane, Sarvatar Da Bhala. This is the well-being of entire humanity solicited every day. And the opening word of Japji Sahib is Ik Oankar, God is one. And the Bani alludes to the reality that Manas ki jaat sab ek hi pehchan ho. Humanity has only one identity. It also says that Hum nahi change, bura nahi koi. We are not good, others are not bad. And the 3 pillars, if one would like to say, of Sikhism is Kirat Karni, earning in righteous way, Naam Japna, to be in the company of God, and Vand Chakna, to share it with others. So automatically the issue is that, and as we are living in troubled times, some are practicing, but then as I say that everyone has to elude and practice it. So how to do about it, how to actualize it, and how to ensure practice universal ethics. In Gurbani, it is clearly pointed out that one needs to shun, and it starts from individual, home, self-conceitedness has to be shunned. And it is mentioned that sab mein hi ek vartata, eko rah samay. There is only one God in all of us. And which means that once we recognize that all are one, then the duality or conceitedness or negation of others has to be shunned or rejected. So in this way, it is also being further pointed out that eh dehi andar panj chor vase, krodh moh, ahankar. And it is being clearly pointed in home, and there's a 5, you can say the one who is self-conceited, neglect others, is also having 5 vices, which is Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. And these have to be shunned. And opposite to it is the path of virtue. So virtue, the one who practices is Gurmukh. So there's a kind of, you can say, continuously it is being alluded to the fact that home has to be shunned, all have to be regarded equal, and all have to be served. So what I feel that if we are to kind of practice universal ethics and to ensure that we do not end up harming others, then the path starts from self. It has to be practiced. It has to be practiced, and moreover, what I feel as a teacher, and I've been teaching for the last 38 years. Professor Kama is also teaching for so many more than that. So we have an opportunity to be in touch with young one from the age of 18 till 21, and one feels that the kind of change which has come over the period of time. Now, University of Delhi has taken, UGC has taken initiative, moral education is becoming part of it. But the issue is that we do not need to profess it, we need to practice it. So therein, as we were lucky, we had exemplary lives. My house was very near to Ramakrishna Mission. Almost my life has spent visiting the library from the time of when I was only 5 years old. So those blessings have been with me. So we need to have such spaces. We must introduce a young one to these spaces. Not only young one, but parents should be also part of it. And then they should be practicing it. So that home has to be shunned. Pretending now AI has come, artificial intelligence. So already make-believe world is there. We had this news that in South Korea, one robot has committed suicide because of overwork. So if we don't want this kind of a world, and we want that we should remain good human beings, nations' boundaries are going to be there. Guru Nanak in his Udasis traveled to all those spaces where enlightened souls lived, had interaction with them. And then there's a saying that those who are not going to agree to it, there's no need to fight over it. more sangna lujiye. The one who is not going to learn, there's no need to interact with that person. One should keep on moving, spreading the good word. And I feel that there is need to kind of, you can say, monitor or do corrective as well as the electronic world is concerned. So that make-believe world should not overpower us. Nothing is being lost. We have ancient virtues with us. We are aware of it, and when we teach, since I teach history, so I have an added advantage. We get to introduce our student to all the important deeds and noble souls, from Ramakrishna Mission to Ramakrishna to Swami Vivekananda and others enlightened souls. But then at the end of the day, when I feel that we need to be self-righteous, and we need to be kind of practicing what we want to profess or what we want others to emulate, and only then solution can be found. So automatically, from individual to nation state, boundaries are going to be there. Peace is required by everyone, but then boundaries can be transcended, and this is what our religious traditions, and this is what His Holiness Dalai Lama has shown it to us. So this can be practiced. That's all.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me to Tibet House today. I remember being here last year and many, many times. And if there is one thing, of course, I pray for His Holiness's great and long life. He has taught me one thing, or two things, let me say. One is humility, and the other is joy. He teases, he laughs with you, he remembers you. He is an absolutely wonderful human being. So may he have all the blessings of every farishte, every angel of this world, because he is a living embodiment of compassion. I am speaking first as we all are people who wear many hats. A person is not a single individual. So I'm not going to speak first as a Zoroastrian. I'm going to speak about universality, which I learned in my absolute babyhood because I was an army officer's daughter. We lived normally about 1,000 miles away from any fire temple or agyari. So we went to mosque and we went to the mandir, we went to the gurdwara, we went to the church. I still say a novena first thing in the morning. So the whole point is all of us have the capacity to be accepting of universal truths. And that is why there's a subliminal sense in us which we know that this is a value which we all should cherish. The second thing is, as Amrit Kaur, my friend, said, I speak as an educator about ethics. I think the most important role of an educationist, and I have taught now for 41 years, I'm about to retire, is to be kind. And I think that is an ethic which is very, very important. We are being driven crazy with CUET and NEET and blah, blah, blah. But we shouldn't take it out on our students. We are being pushed beyond our human capacities. As we were discussing, we had no holidays. So this is the type of thing which is happening. Every young person, however irritating their phones may be in your class, however irritating you might find, you might wonder whether they're watching a cartoon on their computer or they're actually taking down something from your lecture, I think they need kindness. All of us need kindness. Now I'll speak quickly from the point of view of Zoroastrianism. As a Zoroastrian, and at my age, we were fortunate to be brought up in the tradition. So, even as I speak, I am wearing my sadra and my kasti, the white muslin vest, with its little gireban or pocket of good deeds, and the kasti, which is the direction finder for me. This is made of muslin, the kasti is made of lamb's wool. I am a soldier of truth. This is ingrained in me. But I'm not a soldier to fight. I'm a soldier to protect. And protection is not just of human beings, but as everybody has spoken, of all creation. We have a birthday not just to trees, we have it to water, we have it to fire, we have it to the earth, we have it to the air. We enjoy birthdays. So I'm very happy that I've got a big piece of cake over here in front of me. We tie our girdle at the kasti, which we wear in the morning and which we wear the whole day and which we again pray at night. We tie the kasti girdle, it's a reef knot at the word Shothenanam. Shothenanam means basically to work. To work means to serve. And the three principles of our faith, which I think many of my friends here know, are Humakta, Hukta, Hurvarashta, good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Okay? And I will give it to you in Parsi Gujarati, which many of you will follow, Swamiji will follow. Manashni, Gavashni, Gunashni. Okay? Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. But then what is the challenge for a Zoroastrian? Why do we have to wear this protective armor and what do we have to protect? For the Zoroastrian, evil and negativity, like in physics, really exists. For every action, there is a reaction. And in Zoroastrianism, the prophet Zarathustra himself says that there are two twin spirits in our minds. And please remember, it is a mental, the Gathas are songs of Zarathustra. They talk about what we experience in our mind. There are two twin spirits in our mind. One is the good, the other bad. And of these two, the wise do choose aright. The unwise choose not thus and go astray. We all want a life of peace. Last year, there was a young Ukrainian girl in this audience who was talking about, she'd just come out of Ukraine, she was talking about what was happening. Today, we are watching children being bombed, we are watching hostages being killed. We are watching, frankly, industrial warfare, which is done, as so many people have said, for the greed of a few. And I think if there's any solution, it's time we all spoke up against those who are selling war machines. They are destroying not only humanity, we are destroying the earth with what we are doing right now. And this is something which all of us have to be soldiers of truth. We all have to act. Because for the Zoroastrian, a saint or a sage is not a person who retreats to find personal salvation. A good person, an ashavan, he who follows the direction of the right path, is one who struggles against suffering. And just yesterday, I heard something which touched me deeply. A young American Zoroastrian doctor, his name is Firoz Sidhwa, has left a very comfortable life in America to go and serve. He's a trauma surgeon, as a trauma surgeon in Palestine, serving both Israelis and the Palestinians themselves. He's risking his life because he's following his faith. So all of us talk of love and truth and peace and things of that sort. What is the ultimate goal of life? The ultimate goal of all our lives is to be with family. And there's a very, the West has got a very sarcastic comment to make about our paradise. They say the Zoroastrians believe paradise is like a great family reunion. I think that's a wonderful idea. Why not? So we cross the Chinvat Bridge, which is the bridge of judgment, which judges not by what you are doing at that point, but what you have done all your life. And we cross this bridge and it widens to a beautiful road, 9 furlongs long, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, if you have not done the correct deeds, if you have not helped the world, it becomes a razor's edge. All this is mental. And therefore, you choose, you go across, if you have been serving correctly, into a beautiful, sweet-scented paradise of flowers and trees and gentle running brooks. and a soft sunlight. I think it's a beautiful description. And Christ, in fact, used the Persian word paradise, paradise, on the cross when he promised paradise. I'm finishing, don't worry, I'm finishing. So basically, I think all of us, if we are having a discussion, all of us need to stand up against greed. It is this greed which has destroyed this beautiful world. All of us also need to serve not only the world, but and protect not only the world, but also ourselves. And here I speak to my young friends, because as teachers, we're always concerned with the young. Just look at the mess, the things that have happened to exams. We all know as parents what tension children go through from class 10 onwards. And just think of young people who have faced an exam and they don't know whether it's, and have studied sometimes 2 to 3 years for that exam. And they don't know whether it's going to happen, it's not happening, whether their result is correct or not. I think basically we need to all also allow ourselves breathing space. We need to reduce the stress that everything around us is causing. And finally, of course, obviously, Gandhiji, who I hope we all remember, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama spoke of non-violence. I think this is the most important thing, because non-violence leads to harmony. Gandhiji, Zoroastrianism, every religion that you have heard about here gives or preaches what I'm quoting from the Gathas, a loving gospel. It's a path of love. And we must not, quote unquote, injure life. And I think if we can defeat this industrial warfare through caritas, that's caring, through compassion, then, only then, can we meet the challenges which we are facing with positive solutions. Thank you.
Yes. Very good evening to all of you. Honorable Chairperson and all the ambassadors of peace from various branches of humanity. Yes. Universal ethics and responsibility, or Buddhist ethics or responsibility, or whatever taught is Buddha, is nothing but the universal responsibility. The responsibility as being human. Talking in broadly, Buddha taught compassion. Buddha taught peace. He gave the path of liberation to all human beings, to the entire humanity, without any discrimination. Even as an academic of the Buddhist studies, I go a further step, and I can also say that Buddha did not want to bound anybody in the boundaries of religion, even in the boundaries of the religion of Buddhism. What he called his teaching as not as a Buddhism, but as Dharma, or Dhamma in his own language, that is Pali. So Dhamma was itself universal appeal. Buddha says that he talks only two things. One is suffering, another is the path of suffering, and nothing else. So, suffering is universal, and path leading to the suffering is also universal. There is no different medication for different people, people from different caste, different people from different religion, different gender, or even different countries. The path is same because the challenges the challenges are same, and the suffering is same. Therefore, Buddha wanted everybody to become happy. That is why he preached all his students, all his monks, Charatha Bhikkave Charikang, Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sukhai, At Lokanukampaya, Athaya Hitaya, Deva Manusanang. O monks, keep on wondering. He didn't say his monks to get peace or settle at one place, but he ordered them to walk from all directions, go to person, people to people, and share this wonderful Dhamma, the path of liberation, with all human beings. Bahujana Hitaya. This is the concept, this is the term coined by the Buddha. Maximum number of the people, not a particular people, but it is as more people you can benefit, as more humanity you can benefit, you take this benefit to them. Bahujana Sukhai, for the peace of maximum number of the people, and Lokanu Kampai, for the compassion on the entire people, as well as Athaya Hitaya Deva Manusanang. Now Buddha is going beyond the humanity, not only for the benefit of human being, as well as for the benefit of the devas. Those are the celestial beings. So in the Metta Sutta, he says that one should radiate the metta, fill our mind fully compassionate, fully with loving kindness for all the beings, small or big, close or far, human being or animal or celestial beings. So, therefore, universal responsibility is reflected in every word and sentence of the Buddha, which we find in the fundamental teaching of the Buddha. The further thing I would like to discuss about how to generate loving compassion. We have seen many examples in his life. He converted Angulimala, a very violent person, to a monk. This is a really very great achievement and very great example for entire of the humanity. He converted many of the prostitutes, many of those women on the wrong path, so to the saints. Ambapali, which was a courtesan, she was made a bhikkhuni, a nun, and her utterances are there recorded in the book called Therigatha. She says that Satchavadi Vachanang Anayatha, that the words of the Buddha are never never worthless. They are very meaningful. And after every line she chants that I was so much beautiful, and my eyes were like that, my hair were like that. Now because of the old age they have become like this. So this is how anatta, dukkha, and anicca she reflects in her poetry. So the many of the nuns from all strata of the societies, from poor background, even from royal background, from Brahmin family or other families, or from the Shudra or outcast family, are there recorded in the Therigatha. And likewise also the words of emancipation from the male bhikkhus are also recorded in the Theragatha. So therefore, he taught vipassana meditation, that is also called satipatthana, to generate loving compassion. So it is only a purified mind only can radiate loving compassion, and metta, mudita, karuna, upeksha, what is called Brahma Vihara. In uh, what we mistakenly we called is Buddhism, but what Buddha taught, it is Dhamma or Dharma. He never wanted any to establish any religion to fight or to become a cause of any conflict in the future. But unfortunately, we have prepared so many of religions under the name of Buddha, and the time is there to to remove all these blocks of sectarianism and to understand the universal appeal of the Buddha, universal teaching of the Buddha for the benefit primarily of his followers, and later the followers of all other religious stream. So this is how he practiced meditation. He practiced anapanasati, that is the meditation of breath, concentration on breath, and later he understood the bodily sensation, and he understood that the sensations has a vital role in our emotion. Whatever a person thinks, whatever he acts, whatever he feels, that depends to the bodily sensation. Vedana Pachaya Tanha. Tanha is the cause of suffering, Trishna is the cause of suffering, and that Tanha arises on the basis of Vedana, that is bodily sensations, and one may reach the sensations only through the meditation, through observation of those sensations as it is, so that is Vipassana meditation, and through this meditation one purifies own mind, and the purified mind is has the nature to radiate compassion and love, and the person who practice meditation, he will be the solution for more and more questions, more questions for him, for his society, and ultimately for the universe. So, on this holy occasion of the birthday of His Holiness, I pray, I wish that the desire of the holiness, that the world should be filled with love and compassion and cooperation, will be fulfilled. Bhavatu Sabba Mangalang.
Um, hello. Thank you very much, Professor Dhammadeep ji. And now, I would like to thank our Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldar ji, and our respected guest speakers for the roundtable discussion on universal ethics and responsibilities, challenges and solutions. And I'm very thankful to all of you, sir, respected sir and madam, for attending this roundtable conference, considering the very importance of this day, as this is the celebration of the 89th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And also I would like to pay my utmost gratitude to all of you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom on the very topic we have on universal ethics, which is being always preached by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, the message of peace and compassion to the world. And now, as we have concluded with the discussion, I would like to request all the participants who have come here today to kindly ask questions, if you have any, to our respected guest speakers, and we'll be giving 10 minutes for the question answer session. Ladies and gentlemen, any questions from your side?
सर आप तो बुद्धिज्म से है ना सर? या सर उसमें एक प्रेयर है बिकॉज आई कम हियर, तो दैट इज द हार्ट सूत्रा विच सेज ओम तयाता गते गते. You must be aware about this prayer, this heart sutra, na? Om Tayata Gate Gate. What is the meaning of this and how to achieve it?
Actually, yes, welcome. My specialization is Pali based Buddhism, yes, but really, regarding little solution I can give that this is also metta verses. Metta verses. These are the verses of compassion in Sanskrit and Mahayana based Buddhism. So in the beginning, what happened that whenever a monk or nun they used to visit the lay person, they were they were expected to share some metta verses in the end whenever conversation is done, so that conversation should be converted, should be concluded with the metta verses. Metta verses means the verses of compassion, मैत्री, loving kindness, जिसे मैत्री कहते हैं. तो वो मैत्री के वर्सेस ही कन्वर्ट होते होते इस लैंग्वेज में आ गए हैं. तो फाइनली इसका यही है कि सभी लोग सुखी हो, सभी लोग आप चैन से रहे, आपकी बाधाएं दूर हो, यही इसका मतलब मीनिंग है. If somebody can provide other solution, they are welcome.
One of the speakers said that Vipassana is, which was diverted from India to other countries, or it's being brought to India. So it is not. It is still practiced in India. So how do you say that it is not? It is not relevant in India. It is still being practiced at different places.
The extent and degree to which it is practiced in India is not as much as it was practiced in Myanmar. See, Vipassana is practiced. You Google New York and look for Vipassana centers, you will get 17 of them. You Google London, you will get 20 of them. So there are several Vipassana centers. But the core Vipassana teachings which were done in monasteries, which are very difficult, very, very tough, they were for decades developed in Myanmar. And it was Acharya Goenka who spent 14 years in Myanmar, studied that, the conceptual aspect of Vipassana. Vipassana was being practiced in India also, but in a different form, not in that depth. He brought the actual valuable element of Vipassana back to India. So now the form of Vipassana which is practiced, especially by the Vipassana Center in Mumbai, which is under Acharya Goenka's institute's control, is something of a different level. And now, we are able to now research on it. There are documents pertaining to Vipassana's teachings which were not available in India, which are there in Myanmar. Those have been brought back to India now. It never existed. So that is what I meant. That is the difference. And in fact, when I said that, the PM mentioned about, Vipassana, this was actually on the centenary of Acharya Goenka. He was marking that occasion. On that, he said specifically. Of course, due to diplomatic reasons, he didn't use the word Myanmar or, in a different country something was happening. But he just said that it went away from India and it has to be brought back. So that is the relevance.
Good evening. On the day of His Holiness' birthday, there was a lot of discussion going on from the perspective of various religions, talking about His Holiness
expressions which were mentioned thousands of years back, and all the lamas which have came back in the past history and the current one, those who are promoting activities on vipassana and rest of the activities. My question would be around this universal ethic part, especially with the condition of war and medicine. The thing is, nowadays I don't see empathy coming from from the part of Oshadhacharya, because whenever we have the kind of sickness we have these days, which is quite common, happens every month, once every month or twice every month, I don't see doctors giving that kind of a treatment, compassion to the patients, which used to be given earlier. What do you think there would be any suggestion to those Oshadhacharyas that are operating at high operating margins and not serving the poor and needy in the villages and other places? Because religion is neutral when it comes to giving help to the sick and poor. I don't see that compassion coming from Oshadhacharyas these days. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, this is this is an issue where in Buddhism, you're right, absolutely. What you're saying is the element of compassion has to be with physicians. I mean, a physician who's supposed to be looking after individuals, trying to cure them, if you don't have that compassion, that element of sense and feeling to cure that individual, obviously you will not be able to deliver to that extent. Neither will the patient benefit. So this has been debated and discussed in different forums on the Buddhist front, on the Buddhism front. And there have been several institutions where monks have been ingrained in physical, disbursement of medicines, etc., along with physicians. Monks have been introduced in surgery, ahead of surgery, to engage physicians and spend half an hour time with them, so that they also, and this is willingly. I mean, it's not something which is pushed onto that surgeon. It's because he is willing to accept such a briefing from a monk, who makes him feel a little calm and relaxed before he goes in for operations. In Ladakh, for instance, in far-fetched areas in Ladakh, remote areas where probably it takes you 18 hours, 14 hours by road to reach. And these are people who have never come out of those villages, absolutely remote areas. They've never seen anything beyond their village. I mean, you can see China across, and probably India is far off for them. China is more closer. And because of the peculiarities of that region, you have, unique type of cancer which these people are suffering from, bone cancer. Nobody is able to understand what type of cancer is this. So what was done was, again, a group of monks, and incidentally, the founder of International Buddhist Confederation, where I come from, the first Secretary General, a gentleman by the name of Venerable Lama Lok Sang, he just passed away a few months back. He introduced this system of monk-physician interaction. So he convinced physicians in Safdarjung and All India Institute, more in All India Institute, some very encouraging and enthusiastic physicians who willingly said that we are willing to go and spend 2 months' time in Ladakh. I mean, whatever the location be, howsoever far and howsoever remote, we'll go there, we'll spend time, and we'll look into these patients. And this process started about 10 years back. 10 years back, so doctors, every year, groups of doctors, and they have built a rapport. These doctors from All India Institute have built a rapport with a huge set of people in those remote areas, and are trying to, cure them. And cases which are very complicated, they are actually flown in here. And there's an ashram near Mehroli. They're kept there. The ashram is also run by Lama Lobsang Ji's, people. There are a couple of ambulances from there. They brought to All India Institute for serious treatment, etc. So, what I'm trying to say is that this has to be done at a large scale. This is just a small example I'm giving. There have been efforts made by monasteries and monks in the Buddhist, on the Buddhist narrative to somehow do this monk-physician interaction to build a very positive narrative and send a message to others also in different states, different locations to do the same. So we'll see. I know of several other organizations from different religious background. They are also indulging in such activities, but it has to be large scale. I mean, we always, open up paper and see instances of, doctors indulging in fraud and all kind of wrong surgeries being undertaken. You find a pin and sort of a piece of paper in the internal organs because it was wrongly placed there while the operation took place. All kind of crazy things. I mean, obviously this doctor is not serious about the operation he's undertaking. He's obviously doing it in a manner where there is no mindfulness, which we are talking about. He's not bothered about the focus, concentration. So these are areas which need a lot of thought, and I think from among all of us, we should contribute in terms of a message being sent to the medical world to the extent possible. Sorry.
He's right, because while working in the Ayush department, that I was not instrumental, but I helped to get Amchi research recognized by the government of India. At that time, Dr. Dolma used to come, and she found it very difficult to practice, especially there was a warrant issued against her. And since I was there, I could help, and we could start that university college. And I had been to Ladakh and Leh Ladakh, and I visited the number of, and especially the leukemia, the blood cancer could be cured by this Tibetan system of medicine called Amchi research. So just I wanted to say that everyone that, but of course it is not being practiced only in those areas only, unfortunately. Yeah, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
Father, I think you and I are saying the same thing. If you go to Holy Families Hospital, okay, or you go to any Catholic hospital, or you go to even today, Jaslok Hospital in Bombay. Every hospital now, and of course Holy Families I'm talking about right from the beginning, you have a prayer room. And it's not just for the patients, it's also for the doctors. And very often you will see the doctors there in the morning. Patients come and go, patients' attendants come and go, but you will see doctors there also. And the same thing you will find in the little prayer rooms. And today, I think whenever anybody is under stress, and that's a positive thing that has happened, even at airports across the world, you have a prayer room, a non-denominational prayer room, where you just go to calm yourself and to connect with the divine. I think I'll just, yeah, then I just pass.
I just would like to bring to your notice that the medical institutions have become a business today. And I have an experience of working in Arunachal. I have an experience of working in Madhya Pradesh. And now I've worked in Rajasthan. The situations are, we only talk about the Delhi and what facilities we have, but the rural India where the Christian missionaries are, down to earth, catering to those poorest of the poor, the compassionate ground. And certain government policies have abolished many of the dispensaries which people could go and get their, medical plus spiritual strengthening. So that is where exactly we need to focus, not just one or the other area, but really the compassionate ground where people need to be catered to, especially the rural India. Thank you.
Yes.
There must be questions there.
Any more questions, participants? We'll take one last question, if you have any.
Namaskar to all of you. What is religious freedom? What does it mean in this, whatever is happening around the world? What does it mean actually? What is religious freedom?
Religious freedom. What do you mean by it?
Excuse me, can I take it?
Yeah.
Then you want to?
I'm just asking.
Okay. coming from coming from a faith, I think I don't need the mic, I can speak loud enough. I think coming from a faith which goes back to the Bronze Age, sorry, coming from a faith which is from the Bronze Age and which has been a refugee culture and now is a diaspora culture. I think religious freedom is something whereby anyone can believe or choose not to believe in a path. And the basic point of freedom is to let, as everybody has said, love thy neighbor as thyself. So if you believe in something and I don't believe in it, you have every right, just as I have every right not to believe in it. That, I think, is freedom. And religion is used actually right now, as Father said, to crush freedom. That is the whole problem. That is the whole problem. You want to speak? This mic is working.
So I think I quite agree with what Dr. Kama has just said. It's plain and simple. You can go into a philosophical debate and it will get very complicated, endless. Everybody will have their own views. But plain and simple for an ordinary citizen, assume you are an ordinary citizen, you're not asking from a philosophical point of view. What she said is what makes sense. The ability of an individual to practice any religion, simple, is religious freedom. Now, it's easier said than done. In a system where you are existing, how do you do that? And a lot of this depends on your upbringing, the way you've been brought up, the circumstances in which you have existed, the kind of people you have interacted. When I say people, people from different religious background. And I think one thing which is very common between Dr. Kama and me is that I'm also an sort of defense personnel son. I mean, my father was in the Air Force. Yeah, so we would have neighbors, who would be either a Muslim, or there would be a Parsi, there would be a Kashmiri, and it would change every 2 years, 3 years. So as kids, we grew up with a very different sort of ecosystem surrounding us, and in different places all over the country. So as a result, when I look back at this juncture, it sounds a little peculiar when I narrate this to people, but those days when you're struggling, just after college, looking for a job, talking about 84, 85, 86, I used to serve in a church. I used to even sit in a dargah. And I am a Hindu. And right now I'm doing Buddhism. So this is what is religious freedom. The flexibility and the ability to do it. I just hope that everyone has that freedom.
You already explained.
Thank you, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, for the wonderful interpretation about the religious freedom. And now, on this note, I would like to conclude today's session on the roundtable discussion we had on the topic universal responsibilities and universal ethics and responsibilities, challenges and solutions. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank our chair, Mr. Chairperson, Mr. Abhijit Haldarji, and our respected speakers from various perspectives. And not only that, I would like to thank all the participants for your great enthusiasm and your devotion and making today's conference a wonderful and a successful one. And now I would like to, with this, I conclude the session. And before this, I would like to make a small announcement. After this, we will have arranged a small refreshment for all of you, and the Honorable Chairperson and the respected speakers, you may kindly go downstairs to the meeting room for the refreshment, and our staff will be, helping you with that. And as for the participants, we have an adjacent room to the gallery room. You may kindly help yourself with the refreshment we have. We have white rice desi, Desi is a combination of a sweet rice with dry fruits. And we have a salt butter tea and tea also, and some cookies for all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, everyone. And again, I would like to conclude this session with a swift prayer. And may I deliver this prayer in Tibetan for the long life of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Kangre rawe ko ve shingam su pendan dewa manu jungene chere siwa tenji gyazoi shabe side parto tengi urchi. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. It was a lovely session. Thank you. Oh, yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to mention one thing. Dr. Shahnaz Kamaji has been very generous to donate us a book, which is on the sociological survey of rural Parsis in South Gujarat, a microscopic study with compiled data on the Parsis, authored by Kashmira Percy Bhavyaji. Please, ma'am.
Sorry. This book came yesterday, and from the author. The reason why I would like to donate it, with, of course, her blessings, to Tibet House is because the Zoroastrian and the Parsis are seen as always rich, etc., etc. The condition of the Parsis in rural Gujarat is not good at all. And there is where we really need universal compassion from our own people. We need compassion from our own community. And that is why I think to make people more aware of the diversity in the Parsi community, I would like to donate this book, because I know that research scholars come and use your library. So I would like to give it to you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Great,